in terms of the process, where do you see founders slip up the most?
Where some founders trip up is trying to sell. Yes, you're trying to sell your business, but you're not trying to sell something to someone. You want to make sure the buyer feels comfortable with the business. But if you are trying to hide the issues, most buyers will find them and they will not trust you as a result. Venture capital mindset, as you're saying, is you shoot 100 times and one of them is hopefully Facebook. And the private equity mindset is much more, hey, I will shoot 10 times and all of them have to work well. None of them will be Facebook. That's the truth. None of the companies that we bought, we ever thought was a moonshot. Sometimes, which is actually the better position for the seller, they can sell, they don't have to sell. This is always the position you want to be in. I'd actually say we don't just look at customers, we look at customer retention. That's for us a key thing. We really try to understand what are the renewal rates, what's the gross retention. So customers are important, customer renewals are important, customer concentration is very... It's a software company that's inherently healthy, that don't necessarily burn much cash. These tend to be the companies that don't need to sell. It tend to be companies that have a track record with their customers, have effectively stable recurring revenues. Those companies that don't need to sell are those where you have the same customer use the product for the last 5, 6, 7 years. One example was, for example, someone trying to hide that a big customer churned. It's a simple thing as that. We asked about the retention and they just eliminate this one customer from the whole file. And we're just like, wait a minute, what do you mean you eliminate this one customer from the file? And we have another file where the customer was there. So they effectively churned, but he didn't want us to take a look at that. And then you just start walking away. Hey, it's not rocket science, but it's also not something you can just brush off and get done with no experience. So really, if you don't have someone to represent your interest, odds are the deal will actually end up being more in the buyer's favor. What's good about having a banker is that they've done this before. They know the rodeo. They know exactly what mistakes you want to prevent. They know exactly how to maximize value. They know exactly how to position certain things so you don't run into the issues we just talked about. They represent the sellers in a way that gets deals done, and also deals that are more favorable to sellers. Odds are, though, if you run a structured process with a banker, they will be able to get you a higher valuation because they know how it's done. So they actually pay for their own fees more often than